Hey everyone and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing as always, and it's me Joe as always, and today I want to talk about the brand new terrifying horror movie Terrifier 3. So I was so excited for this horror movie. It was just something that I knew is going to be in my top 5 for the year ever since like January. I was so excited to see this movie, and I finally did, and this movie easily blew me away. Like, this is so good. Now, is this movie a brutal and gory? Yes, absolutely it is. It is so over the top. It is grotesque in its violence, basically, right? I mean, the first one was, and the second one was, but this one really just takes it to another level, let's just say that. There are scenes that are just really gruesome, and I really enjoy them. Not because I'm some sort of like sadistic person or I enjoy pain or whatever. No, not at all. But just the fact that we get to see something like this in a horror movie is just really cool. And in a wide released horror movie as well. Because this movie actually came out in theaters, so that's extremely cool. I mean, yes, I am very much aware that even the second movie got a little theatrical run, but this movie is coming out exclusively in theaters, so that's sort of important to mention. And it is, again, absolutely brutal. I mean, the violence here is just so over the top, but it is so good. And it is extremely well done. The budget of this movie was about $5 million, right? The first one was about 250K. The second one had a budget of about like $2 million, I think, maybe 1.5. I am not quite sure, but this one had a budget of $5 million, right? So Damien Leone, the director of this movie, actually had some like decent budget to work on. It's still not a lot of money in Hollywood, but like we're getting into the Blumhouse territory, let's just put it that way. But again, this looks much better than most Blumhouse horror movies, if I'm being honest. Art the Clown is absolutely amazing in this movie. I gotta say that Art was just so good, and he was so well done in the first two movies. But in this one, again, it's sort of another level, of how great he is in this movie. I have also just enjoyed the cinematography of this movie and how it looks. I don't want to say that the first two movies looked awful, but they definitely had that sort of low budget feel to them. This one looks like a proper theatrical big studio horror movie, even though it isn't. So the cinematography in this one is again much better. Sort of my nitpick with especially the second movie was the fact that the camera wasn't really moving around and it was mainly stationary. But in this one, the camera sort of moves around and it looks more cinematic. It looks more like a classic horror movie, if you will. And I think that looks really good, right? The soundtrack, the music in the movie, also really good. And I also do want to mention the theme of Christmas, right? Because this is something that I already praised in my previous videos. Whether I did trailer reaction for Terrifier 3 or whether it was that, like, why Terrifier 3 is gonna be amazing video. In that video, I was talking about how how we are lacking just in Christmas horror movies, especially the good ones. Like, the last one I can remember from the top of my head was like, I don't know. Yeah, the Black Christmas remake from 2019 or 18. And that was an awful Blumhouse horror movie. This movie is an amazing Christmas horror movie slasher. It is wonderful. Oh, I'm just so happy that after my sort of disappointments with, for example, The Crow, which, was fine, but I was expecting something a little more, and then especially with, like, Joker 2, I'm so happy that we finally got something that delivered and something that is truly just amazing, you know? And if you are a fan of horror movies in general and you want to support a really cool horror movie, definitely go see Terrifier 3. Ideally, with your friends and just have a good time because this movie deserves the support. And again, I am so glad that Damien Leone, the director of this movie, declined the offer to make Terrifier 3 for or with a bigger studio, right? Because he said in some interview that he was offered to make Terrifier 3 with a bigger studio. However, he would have to basically cut down the violence and gore and all of that. So I'm happy that didn't happen and that we got his vision for this third movie, and it is wonderful and amazing, gory, bloody, fun. It's so good. So good. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. If you've seen Terrifier 3, let me know down below. I want to know your opinions, your takes. I loved it. I loved it. I might do like a deep dive in the future, talking about like the stuff about like the mythos and stuff like that, and you know, the lore and all that. Might do that later. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care, and bye.